just a bite I figured it'd be fun for us to chew on. And again, a lot of you who are on social media, even a fraction as much as I am, I'm sure you have already seen this article. It's been shared everywhere. But I just want to talk about it a little bit, and as it relates to our boy Michael and this franchise. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the Hollywood Reporter just recently on July 5th released an article entitled The Best Slasher Movies of the Decade, and using the occasion of the release of Maxine to give their ranking of what they consider the best modern slasher films within the last 10 years. And so, of course, I was curious, and I mean, right there in the cover shot, you can see, I mean, they've got a shot from Halloween Ends right there, and then, of course, Maxine, and there's Scream 6 down there. So I checked out their ranking, and I mean, it's a pretty good list. I mean, we could debate all day long on what deserves to be in there and what should be higher. This one I thought was weird. They named the Fear Street trilogy in one listing, but it's the Fear Street trilogy. Shouldn't that take up 3 spots? But anyway, I digress. No big deal. Terrifier 2, they ranked at number 10. That's one that we've covered here quite extensively. Please check out all my interviews with the entire Terrifier 2 cast if you haven't already. Um, Personally, I would probably rank Terrifier 2 a bit higher than number 10 on a list of 12 from the last decade. Just my own personal uh, ranking. So, but it made the list. I mean, shit. Um, Freaky's on there. That was another one we've talked about. Hellfest, surprisingly, made the list. Hellfest doesn't get a lot of love that I see anyway, and I do think it's somewhat underrated. Honestly, I don't know if it belongs in my personal rankings above Terrifier 2. That's just my own personal taste. But I love Hellfest. It's a great slasher movie, a great Halloween slasher if you've never seen it. They rank that at number 8 as we go through here. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies at number 7. You know, I finally saw that one on Netflix recently. It's on Netflix now, and it was okay. But I don't know. I was hoping for a little bit better. I guess I don't know. It was one that it got a lot of good buzz, and I was hyped for it. And I, again, I get what they're going for with it, and I appreciate it for what it is. It didn't deliver for me. Sometimes when a movie gets a lot of hype and I don't see it for months and months until later, then in my head I've built it up to be better than it could be. And that was kind of the case with that. Again, not bad by any means. I like it, but I probably wouldn't rank it this high on this list my own self. But I mean, certainly worth a watch at the very least. Um, and again, you guys feel free to comment on any of these. The Strangers Pray at Night from 2018 makes the list. While The Strangers, I guess that was older than 10 years, so that couldn't make the list. But the newest one, Chapter 1, which I haven't seen, doesn't make the list. They like Pray at Night. A lot of people like Pray at Night the best. I love Pray at Night. I thought that was awesome. Um, the Ranger, that one I have not seen yet. I do remember hearing about it upon its release and hearing good things. I got to seek that one out and check it out. Then rank that one at number 5. We've talked about a lot about this one here on the channel here in recent weeks. In a Violent Nature, brand new slasher that came out earlier this year, just a few weeks ago. Check out my interviews with the cast of In a Violent Nature if you haven't already, especially if you like the film. Check it out. I hope you already have if you're watching this, but if you haven't, we interview Rye Barrett, who plays Johnny, the slasher in the film, as well as Charlotte Cragen, who is the yoga girl, we'll say, Aurora. You know what I mean if you've seen the film. Anyway, check out all my interviews with the cast from In a Violent Nature here on the channel. That's ranked at number 4. I really loved it. I don't know if I'd rank it quite this high. Now, this one, again, a lot of people didn't love Scream 6. At least people were divided on it. I was thrilled to see this one ranked as high on this list as it is, because personally, I love Scream 6. I thought it was one of the better Scream films, honestly. And yes, the fact that it's set on Halloween does absolutely influence me saying that. Of course it does. Yeah. But, I mean, I really like the Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega duo of Sam and Tara, and anyway, that's the whole thing. But again, I don't know if I'd personally rank it as the third best of the last decade. I don't know. I don't know. This might be something I'll try to think about, and maybe you guys think about your just your top three or top five of the decade. But again, I think Terrifier 2 would definitely be in that list for me, and I think Scream 6 would probably be in that list. But at number 3, I don't know. But it's Michael Myers Monday, and this is the one we're talking about, because in at number 2, look at this. They rank what? Halloween Ends, the 2022 divisive sequel that many of us loved and many others loathed. Halloween Ends. Now, before we talk about that, let's just go ahead and say what they named as number 1. They named X number 1, which ironically released in the exact same year as Halloween Ends. Again, I don't know. I liked X. Personally, I feel like I haven't seen Maxine yet, but I kind of think I'm going to like that one even more than X. I don't know, but is it the best of the last decade? I don't know. I will say this though, and this is just me talking, okay? Ty West, director of X and Pearl and Maxine and many other greats, he was actually my pick, and I think I've told you guys this before, but I'll say it again. Ty West was my pick to direct the new Halloween movie before they settled on David Gordon Green, when it was up in the air of who's going to direct, and they were talking to people like Mike Flanagan and all kinds of people. If you had asked me then, and many did, Ty West was my pick of all the directors. Would he be my pick to take on this TV show now? Maybe. Honestly, he might still be, because number one, I can't think of a whole lot of people that I could think would get me more excited. I guess if Carpenter was going to be the showrunner himself and direct every episode, that would. There might be one or two others out there, but also he's done a ton of TV work as well. So I think he could be involved in that. But, all right, that's another conversation. Let's go back. Number 2, this is why we're talking about this news item. They ranked Halloween Ends at number 2, and I just want to read this writer's take on the film, because honestly, I like this take. This article is written by Richard Newby. And maybe he's a newbie to the franchise, maybe he's not, but I feel like he got from Halloween Ends what a lot of people kind of might have missed from it. So let's just read this real quick. It's not very long, and I'm just going to read it to you guys if you haven't read it. And you guys chime in the live chat and in the comments below about what you think. But I really think he's kind of got this. The article says, quote, sure, David Gordon Green's final installment in his Halloween trilogy has its share of distractors. I can accept that. Yet, I find it his most meaningful consideration of Myers and Haddonfield. Green lands on the core of the Halloween franchise. Quote, evil doesn't die, it just changes shape. And of course, that's a direct quote from the end of the movie. I've talked about it many times. That is, at the end of the day, what Halloween Ends is definitely all about. Evil doesn't die, it just changes shape. The article continues, quote, despite the expectation that the film would mainly focus on a showdown between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, Halloween Ends largely focuses on a newly introduced Haddonfield resident, Corey Cunningham, a town pariah falsely accused of murdering a kid he was babysitting amid the fervor created by Myers' rampage. Through Cunningham and his relationship with Laurie's granddaughter, Allison, Haddonfield is exposed as not simply a town corrupted by Myers' existence, but one that may very well be the cause of it. It's a sick place full of cruel people and cruel ideas, and one in need of a boogeyman. Evil isn't something simply passed from one individual to another, but spread and absorbed, and can become con it can be contracted by a chance encounter in the sewers or staring out a window and seeing the town reflected back. Haddonfield isn't so different from any town or city in America, and that's what makes it so frightening. There's a Michael Myers being shaped everywhere. Sorry, but I love that writer's take. That brief but very on point, I think, take on Halloween Ends. Now, I know most of you that are regular viewers here on Michael Myers Monday Live, the majority of you seem to generally think like I do regarding Halloween Ends, that you like it. You really appreciate it for what it is. I know there's a ton of people that despise it and wouldn't even give it a chance. But I think they're missing the point and missing everything the article points out, honestly. And when you take it like that, to me, I mean, he just nails what they're really talking about in that movie. And so when people talk about Michael's so weak, I kind of see the opposite in Halloween Ends. You know, you're missing the big point that Michael might seem weaker in some of those scenes, but the shape, the evil, the ultimate pure evil that powers it all is bigger and more powerful and more undefeatable, arguably, than in any of the other films in Halloween Ends. Even though it arguably ends with a somewhat happy note, it ain't happy. I mean, yeah, is Allison and Laurie ever going to hang out again and be close like they kind of were for a few minutes at the beginning of the film? Or I mean, yeah, Laurie and Frank might have a few happy years together, but it's not really the happiest ending. So, in any case, I really like that take. I don't agree with their ranking totally. I mean, like I said, there's a couple on there that I would definitely put in my own top 10 of the decade, but now it got me thinking, like, what is my favorite slasher of the whole decade? From what, 2015 to 2014, or 2014 to 2024 now? I don't know. I'd have to dig into it a little bit. But again, shout out to the Hollywood Reporter, because I do appreciate that article's take on Halloween Ends. And now I'll turn it over to you guys. Let me say that author's name one more time. The article is by Richard Newby over at the Hollywood Reporter. So great job, Richard. I thought you nailed your take on Halloween Ends for sure. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to you guys. I'm going to shut up for a minute, and you guys comment on what you think about Richard's take in the Hollywood Reporter on Halloween Ends.